Hey guys, welcome to Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. Today is September 24th because it's my great-grandma's birthday. She's 93 today, and we called and sang happy birthday to her earlier.
It's your grandmother's birthday.
Sorry, my grandmother's, not my great-grandma's. These guys' great-grandma.
My great-grandmother's birthday.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. And my mom just had a birthday too, and so she is now 62. And Mark is about to have a birthday, and he's going to be 48 on Tuesday. So we're doing a video because life has been really, really busy. Virginia, did you have something to say?
There's one important thing because Daddy's sitting here eating spice drops. And I don't know if you guys know, but there seems to be a shortage of spice drops and they have not been able to find them. So Grandma saved the day and found 2 large containers of spice drops at Sam's Club the other day.
Walmart
the other day. And so she brought home spice drops. But that has been part of the thing that we've been looking for in these we stopped at, well, they didn't have them at Walmart, they didn't have them at Hannaford, and Mommy went to get them on Walmart and they had run out of stock between the time that they looked at them at the store to the time that she went to place an order. So that's part of what's been happening in the last weeks.
Donations of spice drops, welcome, accepted,
and Daddy's the only one in the family that likes spice drops. So, it's been a crazy couple weeks. We keep saying, hey, let's do a video, and then it doesn't happen because we've been really, really busy. So, we decided we'd do a video tonight, try to tell you what's going on, and then maybe we'll get more consistent with doing videos, or maybe not, because we got more busyness coming up. So,
Rewind to August.
Rewind to August. Okay.
Oh, wow. We actually made a list.
We have a list. Okay, so we don't know which of these came first. So if one came first and not the other, we're sorry about that. So one thing that happened is we had our friends Ben and Rachel over. So Ben, we have known for a long time, for like 9 years. And his brother...
I've seen him in like 8 of those.
Right. We haven't seen him in a long time. But Ben and his brothers used to go to church with us. Ben's brother is actually going to be the pastor at my mom's church. He just moved back to the area. But, I don't know, a couple months ago, we were at a touch-a-truck event. If you don't know what a touch-a-truck event is, there's a bunch of trucks from the community, like a fire truck, a police car.
And what?
You go touch them.
Okay, who decided the name of this thing?
So anyway, they had one of those, and the kids are interested in those types of things, so we went to this event, and we ran into Ben, who we haven't seen since he married Rachel, and so we got a chance to talk to them really quickly. Well, busy summer for everybody. We didn't get together until a couple months later, but we had a grand time with them. They have the cutest children ever, and she is due very soon with their next one,
And
number
well
4.
behaved.
Oh, very well-behaved kids, and so cute.
And adorable.
Matthew
Ridiculously
was sitting next to me at dinner, and he was so cute. He just kept looking at me and telling me stories, and he was funny. They were made-up stories, or stories that he thought were true in his mind. I'm not really sure, but they were stories, and it was very cute. So anyway, we had them over. That was a great time. Another thing... Okay, someone else can tell the next story.
We went to our friend David Crossman's concert. He and his wife Barb are missionaries in Ukraine. Moldova. They help Ukrainian refugees.
They were going on a trip to Ukraine, and they work with Ukrainians. They just have a house in Moldova.
So they work with Ukrainian refugees, but he's also a singer, songwriter, artist. So he did a concert for Ukraine.
What?
I said awesomeness. And his wife makes up for the rest of the sweetness part, too. Sorry, continue.
So anyways, he did a concert with a lot of his songs and also talked about his work in Ukraine.
It was really good. And I've known David my entire life. He played guitar at Mommy and Daddy's wedding. So I knew him, like, as soon as I could know him. As soon as you can know somebody, I knew David pretty much.
So, yes, I've known David since I was younger. I don't know how much younger, but I was, I don't know, maybe 10 when I first met David, and we used to sing with him. He was a local guy who used to do concerts at different churches. I remember one time we sang at like Lobster Festival, And I was just one of the kids that sang in the song No Fair. And the kids all went, no fair, gimme, 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 ain't no fair. Gimme, 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 ain't no fair. Gimme, 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 I wanna, wah, wah, wah. So anyway.
You know, kids like saying wah, 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 wah.
It's actually a good song.
So,
Don't base all of your idea on the chorus alone. Separated
and
from
on
the
our singing ability. So anyway, I've known him for a long time. So then when Mark and I first met, we were going to the church that he went to. He was in charge of the worship team, and we used to practice with him on Tuesday nights, and we would have a Bible study, and he would just be like, oh, the sermon's about fishermen. Let's make up a song about fishermen. And he would just make up songs, and he's really good. So anyway, so we've known him a long time. He had a concert. Him and his wife do a lot of ministry with university students in Moldova. But once the war started in Ukraine, him and mostly his wife, put together spreadsheets of money and donations that were coming in from all over the world, and were getting them to refugees and getting refugees out of Ukraine, like picking them up at the border and taking them places. So it was a really cool thing. So if you want to know more about their ministry, you can check out davidcrossman.com. Is that what it is? David Crossman Music? Something like that. I'm not sure. We'll try to link it below. But also Minjin Project. M-I-N-J-I-N. Minjin Project. They've worked with different people with special needs and stuff in Moldova. They work with poor people in Moldova. There's lots of different things they do. So anyway, they are amazing.
It's davidcrossman.com.
davidcrossman.com, and you can listen to his music. If you would like to download his music, I think it's $1 per song if you want to download. And you can buy, what can they buy, Naomi? You were selling the...
Oh, you can buy a flash drive for $40 with all of his songs and 3 of his books.
Oh yeah,
on
he's
it.
a writer too.
Yes.
So anyways, if anybody wants to buy anything from David Crossman, he'd appreciate it.
Put in promo code Naomi 2022.
That wasn't part of it.
But it would be a good addition. So the other thing that we did was we had a local homeschool mom over for play day with her kids. And so that was another thing that we did because Mommy enjoys we all enjoy having them over. Mommy specifically enjoys sitting and having conversations with the moms and trying to encourage them as they all walk through homeschooling. So that was one of the other things that we did. What's next? We had a list.
Mike and Robert.
Oh, Mike and Robert came. So Robert and Mike are both full-time street preachers. Robert's based in New Hampshire and Colorado, depending on the time of year. And then Mike, right now, he keeps going back to Ohio. And so they travel around a lot of different places. Right now, they're about to start their tour of like Brown, Yale, or UMass.
Is that the
So
Ivy League
Eastern tour stuff. Harvard. All that sort of stuff. I probably don't say that right.
Harvard.
So they drove
Harvard.
Harvard. So they drove like 3 hours or so to get to our house, and they came and hung out for the afternoon. And that was a really good time to get to see them again because we hadn't seen Robert in like a year, and it had been, 4 years since we had seen Mike. So it was really good to get to spend some time with them and listen to how they came to know the Lord and different ministry stories, because it's fun to just sit around with other people who do street ministry and hear the stories of opportunities God has given them for conversation.
Hold on,
I'm
stuck in my dress.
Okay, so after Mike and Robert, so we had Mike and Robert here on a Tuesday. Then the next day, we were planning on having another family come and spend Wednesday through Friday with us. However, due to some sickness, their trip had to get canceled. And so let me back up a little bit. We missed them. And so backing up, Wayland from Tennessee was supposed to fly up. He was coming in on a Thursday, but we were supposed to be having a party at our house on Thursday. So he was going to stay the night at the hotel after flying in, and we'd pick him up on Friday.
Because the airport is 2 hours from us.
Yeah, the airport's 2 hours from us, but there's a hotel nearby, which our aunt owns. So if you're looking for a place to stay in Bangor, Maine,
She's the general manager.
what should I say? Sorry. Oh, sorry. She manages it. Sorry to her boss, but she manages it. So Country Inn at the Mall if you're looking for a place to stay in Bangor. So he flew in Thursday, and we ended up leaving a day early to pick him up. instead of waiting till Friday and making him spend the night at the hotel. It's a good hotel, just we didn't want him to have to spend the night there if he didn't have to, because we'd rather have him with us. So we picked him up on Thursday. But sorry, I've been talking. Somebody else go.
Okay, sorry. I had to go check to make sure everyone... Samuel, it's a Saturday night. He was taking a bath, and he would rather do that than go to bed, so I had to remind him, like, hey, you need to go to bed, too. Okay, so... Oh, that's the rest. Okay, so we started, since we talked to you guys last time, we've been chatting with some young girls across the country that Virginia's been doing a Bible study with, which has been really fun to be able to encourage them and just get to know these girls a little bit more. So if any of you girls are watching this video, hi, it's been good having talks with you. So that's been good, but one more thing added to our schedule. I'm going to go back to the friends we were supposed to have here. They're friends that we've known for a long time, since before they were married, and they now have baby number 7 on the way in about 10 weeks. And we don't get to see them very often because they live across the country. And so we're very excited. We were very excited to going to be able to see them. We actually did get to see them at church one Sunday. They came to the church we go to, and we got to visit with them for that little bit of time there. Thought we would see them again in a couple weeks, but a couple hours before they came, she wrote to me and said that some of the kids were throwing up. So we missed out on them. But they all got home safely, and they are starting their school on Monday, which is something we're doing, and I'll explain that more in a little bit.
Oh, just a second.
She's got something.
So we picked up Waylon from the airport, and then we went up and stayed in Sorrento, so we got to see our grandparents again for the last time this year before we go down to Tennessee. And then we went up to our friend's farm and spent a couple days there. We got to watch a pig give birth and
12 times.
and milk cows and run cows and water cows and run sheep and feed goats and a bunch of other
And
farm
hang
stuff.
out with your friends.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, they were friends. Sorry. We were hanging out with friends while we did the animal chores, so, you know.
And then they also...
And we miss all those friends.
Yes.
We love you.
But they also wanted a wall built in their living room to block off part of a place where they'd put in an addition. And so Wayland kind of took part of the lead on that. Other people were helping him. And then some of us were sitting on the couch very helpfully supervising him, not having any clue how to build the wall that he was building. But it was nice to sit there and visit while he built a wall in front of us. So that got done, and a lot of other projects got done around the farm and around the house. So it was fun to have productive time while we visited. It's productive, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, it's productive to spend time encouraging people in the faith, but it's also kind of fun to have your hands busy in cutting veggies or running sheep or doing other things while you visit as well.
Did you have something to say?
And then there's a tractor trailer.
Well, hold on. So before
Oh,
that,
yeah, that's right.
Oops.
before we mention that, so other things we did to help keep ourselves busy, or at least watch them stay busy while we were standing around not knowing what to do. The first day we got there was lots of apples being peeled, lots of apples being cut. Dehydrators were being filled with apples. I don't think the canner stopped for the first 3 days we were there. They were canning applesauce and other stuff.
What else were you canning? I wasn't part of the canning.
There
You
were
were
other
working
things
on
being
applesauce.
canned.
Beans.
Oh, yes. Never mind. I was packing cans of beans. Probably should have remembered that.
There was a lot of, so they have 2 living rooms. They don't live in a really big house, but they have 2 living rooms. And so there was a lot of me and the mom of their family sitting in the small living room, nursing babies and watching the little ones to keep them out of the way of construction and other parts of the house. The big living room is where they were sitting on the couch just supervising the building. I was going to say something about that. Oh, we'll try to link it below, but there's a video of me and the mom that I'm talking about that we did last time we were on the farm, where she tells about all the awesome farm stuff that they do up there and how they raise their family of 12 kids living in the house. She has also since started a YouTube channel where she talks about their journey of life and how they feed the 14 people in their house a mostly paleo diet. They're allowed to have beans and rice because it's through a doctor's stuff and whatever. But it's interesting to see how they eat. So if you want to check that out, maybe that'll get linked below. I don't know. Mark.
What's the name of her channel?
I don't remember. Because I think she changed it.
Little Blessings Farm.
Little Blessings
I
Farm,
think
Little
that's what it
Blessings
was.
Mama.
Pull it up on your phone. Little Blessings Farm, YouTube.
Okay, so
Carry on.
that was all happening. There was lots of this stuff going on. On the start of that trip, Josiah was having some problems with seizures. It was around the full moon, which we have found affects his seizures. Some people do not believe that full moons affect people in that way. But I was discussing it with someone the other day who works in a nursing home, and she said that she can just walk in and know that it's near the full moon, how people are acting. So your brain is made up of like more than 70% water. So it makes sense that if the moon pulls water, like affects the tides, like it does, that it would affect water in your body too.
And barometric pressure.
And barometric pressure. So we were having problems with those things. Josiah was having a lot of big seizures. We actually had to give him his emergency medication while we were on the trip. I've talked to the doctor since then. He's all good where he is. But that was on whatever day it was. Today marked 2 weeks since that. And Josiah had gone a full 2 weeks with no seizures. He had one today. I will explain that later. But that's the longest period of time we've gone with no clonic-tonic seizures in years. So that was very exciting. So anyway, while we were up there, Wednesday, there was an accident. So this was a couple weeks ago. We were all standing in the front yard. The pastor of our friend's church and his wife had just stopped by to talk. And so we were all standing outside. A bunch of the kids were down in the garden on the piece of property with some bigger kids. Like the little kids weren't there by themselves, but there were a lot of little kids in the garden with a couple of big people. The rest of us people were standing in the driveway. And all of a sudden we all noticed in different ways that there was a truck that was going kind of slow. It then went into the other lane. It had its turn signal on. There were just weird things that made us look out at the truck. And suddenly the truck started to go off the road, right past where the kids were in the garden. Like, he didn't hit the telephone pole. So, like, if this is the road, and here's houses and here's houses, here's their house, and the kids were in the garden here, and the tractor trailer kind of went like this, past where they were. And so it was really scary. It broke the power pole, right past the kids, like where they were in the garden. There was a pole here. It didn't break that one, but it broke the next one, however his track went. And so we immediately started yelling for the children to come out of the garden because lines are falling down. Everyone in our party was safe. Nobody got hurt by the lines. We got all the kids rounded up. It was actually amazing because the amount of kids, when we're together, there's 20 children all together. And all the kids listened really well and came directly out of the garden. They were listening to where we told them to stand and all of that. So Mark and Wayland was with us. They both ran to see what's going on with the tractor trailer driver. So he had driven through a field and toward somebody's house. He didn't hit the person's house.
He did break the fence, and there were horses in the fence, so they had to contain those. Yeah,
the horses started running around like crazy. So they were trying to keep the horses away from the road. Wayland and Naomi went out to stop traffic. Wayland dragged Naomi out from under the power line because in this, you're trying to see what's going on with the tractor trailer, and Naomi didn't realize where the lines were or something along the way.
Yeah, I think we all started running that direction and then realized that the power lines could fall down, so we all had to.
Yeah, so Wayland pulled her out from there. And so her and Wayland went and stopped traffic until enough, like, where tractor trailers parked, people could tell that it was stopped, and then they were able to come back.
Because this is Route 1. Like, it's Princeton, so there's not many people around. But it's US 1. Like, it's a big road.
So Waylon and I stopped the first car, and then I sent him off to go help the guy. And
wasn't the first car that you stopped one with flashers?
Yeah, it had, like, a light bar on top. So we're like, go sit in the middle of the road. So he did.
Yeah, so that guy went and helped stop traffic on the other end. So US Route 1 goes from the Canadian border through Maine, all the way down the East Coast, all the way down to Key West, Florida. So, like, that's the road that we were on. So it got stopped for a couple hours. So anyway, Mark and... Do you want to tell the story?
No, you know.
Okay. So Mark and Wayland ran over there. We're not sure exactly what caused the guy to go off the road, but he was not injured in the accident itself. He didn't actually hit anything, but then he had some seizures afterwards. Because we deal with Josiah's seizures all the time, Mark knew what to do. Mark was able to control the man so that he wasn't able to hurt himself or anyone else. And then paramedics came and all of that stuff. Mark continued to hold the guy because the EMTs and stuff weren't really sure what to do with him. And Mark had a good hold on him. So Mark continued to hold him. Everything was... The guy needed to be taken to the hospital because of the seizures. We don't know what was causing the seizures or anything like that. But nobody else was hurt in this incident. It involved 2 ambulances. So the closest town ambulance came. Then an ambulance came from the bigger town, which is like half an hour away. And then they ended up calling Life Flight in. So our kids saw all this stuff going on, with Life Flight flying directly over the top of us, from across the field. Mark and Wayland were part of it, and so it was big, scary, crazy. Anything else to say about that accident?
It was ridiculous. It was crazy. Daddy and Wayland were gone, and Pastor Don was over at our friend's house. So we were having impromptu prayer meetings.
As we were finding out new
Yeah,
information.
they
You guys didn't know what was going on with us.
right. No, we
No,
didn't
we're like,
know.
oh no, Daddy's gonna fall down.
And at one point, Mommy's like, Daddy has my phone. And so I'm like, my phone, I don't have my phone on me. So I run back to the camper and grab my phone, and I had a missed call from Wayland because he was trying to tell us what was going on. And so we're trying to get like information from him, who was with Daddy, but Daddy was occupied. And so we had all that going on. So we'd like get an update, like they would pray. And then at one point I got an update, so we prayed again. And I think people prayed like 3 times. We had little prayer gathering.
When we say Daddy was occupied, Daddy was sitting under the man who was having the seizure. Like Daddy was sitting with his arms around this guy to keep him safe.
It wasn't pretty for a good 45 minutes to an hour.
But I'm saying that's what you were doing, is you were sitting on the ground under a man.
Wrestling. We was wrestling.
So there were a lot of people that came. The road was closed for a while. Finally, they opened the road. We had some skids. We had some kids that were very traumatized by the entire thing. They had some kids that were traumatized by the entire thing. It was hard on all of us. So we got to be there with them during that scary time because their dad had just left for work, like minutes before this happened. Like minutes before this
7
happened.
minutes maybe?
So, yeah, so it was good that we were all together, and we don't know the outcome of that gentleman, but it seems like he would have gone to the hospital, been taken care of, and sent home.
I tried to find it on the news today, and I didn't find it. I don't know. If I search hard enough, I might be able to find it, but I didn't see it.
So,
The YouTube channel. It's Mama Bear to Many. Mama MOMMA Bear to the number 2 Many. We can probably link that in there, right?
Show me. Mama bear too many. Okay.
Okay, so that's the video, the friend that we were with. Okay, so anyway, that happened on Wednesday. On Thursday, we headed home. Had a good time with them in the morning. Headed home that afternoon. What?
We froze that morning. We went out and people were playing tag. It was freezing cold. Not actually freezing. It was really cold. It was above 32 degrees though. But it was cold.
So, Maine has just now hit our cold weather. It usually is colder than this. I know, this fly is driving me crazy. He keeps flying on the baby.
He's flying on the sleeping baby, and I don't want to slap the baby. So
Did we slap Daddy's hand that's holding the camera?
So, anyway, we are just now getting our cold weather within the last week-ish. Maine usually has cold weather starting kind of the end of August. It can be really cool in the evenings, but it hasn't been until now. Today, I mean, the last couple of days we've woken up and it's like 45 in the morning. So Virginia's flying skills are not very good.
No, where'd it go?
So they froze that morning while we were having a good talk. Then we came home that day. I think everything was good. Nothing else. It was sad. We had to say goodbye to them. We're not going to see them again until Tennessee. So that's going to be sad. But anything else we had to say about that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Cute baby. So So we got home. The reason so 2 other things that have happened in this past. So we'll just tell you all of our details. So we had to get home because Friday Mark had a doctor's appointment. Just a normal doctor's appointment. Nothing came up in that doctor's appointment, right?
I don't know. I don't remember you either.
Nothing that we need to mention here.
No, his thumb's being weird, so he's getting
Yes.
treatment for his thumb.
His thumb, when he goes like this with his left hand, when he does that with his left hand, he gets an electric shock that goes up your arm. Is it better?
That's less, but it's still numb.
We took him to the chiropractor the other day.
But
His
it's
finger's
still
numb. The doctor told us we might have to go to an orthopedic. That was the big deal with him. It was a regularly scheduled appointment, though.
Yeah.
The week before that, we had not been able to leave to go get Wayland until after I had a doctor's appointment, because I decided that I should have a doctor's appointment sometime when I'm not pregnant, because it hasn't happened in a long time. I usually get blood work and stuff done when I'm pregnant and haven't had any done in between. So there were a few things that I wanted checked out by the doctor. One that wasn't done because our laboratory at our hospital doesn't always do everything they're supposed to with their paperwork. So I wanted my vitamin D, but we didn't get that. Years ago, last time I was at the doctor, not pregnant, they tested my vitamin D and I was really low and I was having symptoms of that. So we supplemented, and I want to know if I should be supplementing now. That was one of the things. I also wanted to know what my blood sugars were when I'm not pregnant, because the last 3 pregnancies, my fasting blood sugars are slightly high, and so I've been diagnosed gestational diabetes. But I'm like at the very low end of it, and I haven't gotten an official diagnosis because I don't do the blood test. I just check my finger all the time.
And it's diet controlled. You know?
Right, and it's diet controlled, so I haven't had to do anything. It hasn't affected my births or anything like that. But I wanted to know what my blood sugars are between times. And so my A1C was 5.0, which Mark's was 4.9, so his was slightly better. But 5.0 is really good. And so my doctor said I don't have anything to worry about. Yes, yours at 4.9. So anyway, that was something I went to talk to her about, and that was pretty much it. There was just a couple things that I wanted to make sure. Oh, and I've got a little, what they call it, a subcutaneous cyst. I don't know. It's just this little
bump in her back.
I have a bump in my back. That's nothing, and I don't have to worry about it. So those were just the things. There was nothing big, but I had a doctor's appointment. Mark had a doctor's appointment.
They're on the table.
While we were
They're on the table.
They're right there.
We might have to refill.
What?
Might have to refill the chocolate.
Dark chocolate. So, while Wayland was here, we had multiple doctor's appointments. And we rarely have doctor's appointments. Josiah had a doctor's appointment too. Just a regular appointment. So, we were gone a bunch. What else happened? Oh, wedding.
So stevia chocolate chips.
We went. Oh yeah, you don't have to eat them. We went to a wedding, just Naomi and I. So we drove quite a ways, like an hour, and we went out to the wedding. And it was beautiful, very much gospel focused, scriptural, and emotional. At least for me.
Virginia cried.
Somebody else might not have. But I was.
Well, it was
ashamed
your-
of it.
This friend is closer in age to Virginia than to Naomi. So,
I'm really not exactly sure why I was invited, because, you know, I'm not very close friends with her, but I was very happy to be there.
And it was nice to meet the groom at the wedding. The bride is very sweet. Love her family. And the groom seems very nice as well. I just don't really know him. But it was beautiful, and I think that they're going to have a very good marriage. So I was excited for them.
So you guys, they did that. The following day was Sunday, and our church had a church picnic. They do this once in the spring and once in the fall, where they invite the community to come out and eat at the church parking lot, grass area. Our church is in kind of like on this weird little V-shaped piece of property. So here's the church, and we got this little V-shaped piece of land sitting in front of it. So we invited people, and some people came, and there were some conversations had. We had some good conversations with people that attended the church that we just haven't, different conversations we had. So that was good. We had a good time. Mm-hmm. And we had hot fudge sundaes. Yes, Virginia. Your name's Naomi. Naomi was helping with some children. There was one dad there who was there with his 3 kids alone, and they're younger kids. So Naomi was helping run out energy for them and helping with their plates and things like that.
I'm not sure who was running who, me or them.
She was making sure they weren't running in the road. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
And we had hot fudge sundaes, which Miss Sandra made hot fudge and caramel sauce or butterscotch sauce, whatever it was. It was really good. It's like the best part of the church picnic. No, all the conversations we had are actually the
Oh, I
best
said you
part.
meant of the food.
Of the food, it's the best part. So we did all that. And then that night, we came home for a couple hours, tried to get a rest time. That didn't actually happen. That night, we went to the Timothy and Hosanna Noble concert. So Timothy Noble is a amazing piano player who like plays all the keys. We were joking that he needs to have a shirt that says "All Keys Lives Matter," because we think he goes into churches where, you know, most churches you only use like the middle half of the keys. He makes sure every key gets played lots and lots of times. It's really good. So he has been playing, I mean, he's been doing like big stuff like the quartet, National Quartet Convention since he was like a teenager. So him and Hosanna got married a couple years ago. They've got 2 little boys and they're super cute. They are minis. Mini chocolate chips came in. Their kids are super cute, and the concert was really, really good. So that was on Sunday. What is today? That was last Sunday. Okay.
So, we had Wayland here the rest of the, up until,
Yesterday?
We haven't
Yesterday.
mentioned the bus yet.
oh, we'll get to the bus too. So we had to drop the bus off at the shop. It's still sitting there, because they needed a part sent in from,
Hold on. The bus originally went to the shop.
oh yeah. So the bus went to the shop. We picked it up so that we could make our trip up to wherever we were going.
Which they
to pick
told
up
us was
Wayland and all
totally
that stuff. Yeah, they said it was safe. And so we did that.
It was safe. We got home safely. We're all good.
Came home, dropped it back off at the shop to get the stuff done that needed to be done. They wanted to weld a part, but they couldn't weld it, so I had to get the new part. So I got it sent in from Wisconsin, and hopefully it'll get to the shop on Monday, Lord willing.
Because we have how many vehicles on our driveway?
0.
0.
No, we have
Grandma's.
one.
We have
Grandma's
Grandma's
vehicle's in the driveway.
Okay, so Grandma's vehicle is at her house. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So where was I?
It
bus.
don't quite fit 10 of us.
Yeah, no. Her car fits 5. But anyway, the bus. Oh, we had Wayland here. That's what I was saying. So we had Wayland here, and we had dropped the bus off on Sunday on our way to church. Wednesday, one of our elders' wives had invited us to come down to their house at some point during the week.
How did I
And
forget
so
that? That's awesome.
And so Tuesday, I'm like, hey, or whenever I wrote to her, I'm like, hey, can we come down? And so we went down on Wednesday, and they have a beautiful piece of property down by the river. And so we got to go down on the beach, and then we thought we were just going to visit with them, and we knew that they had their friend here from the Czech Republic.
But then their friend who was staying with them came to visit us, and then our pastor showed up, so that was fun.
And Rebecca suggested that we start a fire. So we had s'mores. But when she went back to get the stuff for s'mores, she grabbed a whole bunch of stuff at the fridge. So we had a whole ton of food.
Hot dogs and...
Oh, and we found a horseshoe crab.
And we found a horseshoe crab that was still alive. I think the dog had brought it up on
The kids
down
got
below.
to pick apples
And
from the
then-
apple tree.
One of our friends...
They got to pick apples from the apple tree.
And then one of our friends' kids came over to visit, and one of the other kids video chatted, so we had a big party.
There was a
From
lot
the
of
other
us.
side of the world.
Yes.
Yes.
They video chatted from the Czech Republic. So that was
And
fun.
the guy who was here from the Czech Republic told you stories from lots of countries all over the world.
He visited Thailand and Vietnam, and he was supposed to be going up to Sweden for work once he got home, because he does like tree. What's a proper term for it? Like tree cutting,
Arboriculture.
arboriculture.
He's
Tree
an
cutting.
arborist.
He climbs stuff really high, and he does like tower climbing. So,
He climbs really high things and cuts them down.
so actually, our elder, Jeff, taught him English through using a Czech Bible and an English Bible. And I think they went through John, and that's how he learned English. So that was really cool.
He speaks English on that.
Yes, he very much does. So, Radek and Laura, yes, he does speak English quite well. We had a good conversation.
The kids came home telling me all kinds of stories he had told. It was a really good day. So we did that not knowing that was going to happen. While Wayland was here, he helped us with a couple of projects we were trying to get done. Cleaning out some tools from the garage. Loading up our van to go to Tennessee because he flew here and then he drove, leaving yesterday, drove our van back to Tennessee so that when we go to Tennessee this winter, we have 2 vehicles down there. He helped build a little bed in the camper. Mm-hmm. Is that the only thing he did in the camper, or did you guys do something else?
In the camper, yeah.
We were looking to put another bed place for Josiah if he's having a bad night. And just stuff got done. I don't know. There were some other things. But we worked on things while he was here. We just had a good time. Lots of Bible study going on. And then we watched him go yesterday morning.
Mm-hmm. And he got there today.
And he got there today in time for the UT game. Do you guys want to tell what they were doing at the UT game? That we'll get to help when we get there.
Yes.
Were we using our van for evangelism?
Daddy was very happy because he got to send 2 signs along to display. And so UT games, the stadium, so University of Tennessee, Knoxville, is it Neyland Stadium? Something like that.
Oh.
Whatever the stadium is there. Seats over 100,000 people. And they had a game today. I think it was the Gators versus UT. And I'm not sure how that turned out. But that's what they had a game for. Since when did you think we'd be looking up college football scores? And so they went out. There were a bunch of Christians out there. Bill Adams from Sports Fan Outreach had come over, and then the Tennessee crew from Christ the King and from Wayland was from Reformed Fellowship Knoxville. And so they all went out on the street today.
Tennessee won 33-38.
Nice.
So John Barrow.
Yeah, sorry, John. UT got this one, and not that I really care about football, but since we're planning to live 6 months in Tennessee this year, we might have to decorate the van with orange for balls. Just saying. Anyway, so
More evangelism.
yes, become all things to all people, even if that means a Vols fan. I don't think that's what the verse meant.
He's abusing the text.
Twist not scripture lest you be like Satan.
Thanks, Brother Washer. So Wayland left here yesterday morning, drove down, stopped in, Virginia or something last night? Pennsylvania? Somewhere. And then got back on the road this morning, made it in time to do ministry. And
So that our van could be there.
So that our van could be there. There was, I think they were planning on preaching. They passed out a bunch of tracts. And Wayland was able to meet some other Reformed Baptist people who were there from Greenville, and so he got to talk with them. They weren't with their group, but they got to talk for a bit. So that was really good, and it seemed like a fruitful day of evangelism. So that was fun. And we plan to be there. They have a game November 12th, I think it is. Mm-hmm. UT has another home game, and so we're looking forward to joining them with 100,000 people at the stadium. More than that around.
Some of our closest friends.
So anyway, so we sent him home yesterday. We just stayed home because we didn't have a vehicle and did some stuff here around the house. We were reloading the camper from the summer. It's been parked up at Mark's mom's house. Now we're packing it to get ready to go to Tennessee. We're not leaving for Tennessee yet, but the stuff like washing all the bedding, and it went back in all the pots and pans and plates and cups, and everything went back out.
And reorganized everything, cleaned.
Yes, cleaned and all that stuff. So that all happened yesterday. Today we got up and we just did Bible and stuff like that. Then took a long rest time watching a show because I just needed people to take a rest. And then hung out with Grandma and my sister and my nephew tonight, doing a taste test of Chick-fil-A chicken versus the Sam's Club Country Bites. I don't remember what they're called. But anyway, they weren't the same, but they were definitely good. Definitely good. We all liked them. So we did that this evening. Then we did our baths and showers and all of that stuff. And now we're doing a video for you. We are starting school on Monday. So it's Saturday right now. We will take tomorrow as a day of rest. We're going to be home because we don't have a vehicle. And we will get our vehicle probably Monday. My mom will take us to go pick up the vehicle. But we will stay home, probably watch a video. One thing I mentioned in the video earlier is that Josiah went a whole 2 weeks without having a seizure and then had one today. That's the longest we've had a span of that. His seizure today was intense, I would say, but it wasn't very long. He was just very confused and was talking mumbo jumbo and didn't know what was going on around him. But the seizure itself wasn't very long. It was just, I also think it seemed worse than it was because it's not every day right now. When they're happening multiple times a day, you get kind of used to them.
Yeah.
Like,
Let your guard down.
It's hard.
Just settle in.
It's hard, but it's just kind of the normal. Since it hasn't been our normal for 2 weeks, it, shakes you up a little bit. But he was fine. I mean, his recovery time wasn't even that long from it.
He was crawling 20 minutes later.
Right. He was doing his normal stuff. So it wasn't a big deal.
He was just talking nonsense instead of napping, and so it was different.
Yes. Yeah, typically he has a seizure and then he's very worn out and he just kind of falls asleep for a little bit. That didn't happen. He was up talking nonsense trying to get up off the floor. So we had to settle him.
I want to go. Mommy, where's Mommy? Like, Mommy's sitting in front of you.
So anyway, I'm finishing up our school stuff for Monday. I will try to let you know what we're doing this year once I have it fully started and in my head. But I think that's what's going on. Do we have other things that we need to tell them? That was a lot. We just told you guys a lot, and it's probably a really long video. But
Yeah.
I guess that's it. So
That's our boring life.
See y'all next time.
Oh, and as a family, I don't even know where we were last time we were on here. As a family, we are studying the book of Matthew. We have found some very interesting things as we are discussing specifically who Jesus is and what Jesus said while he was here on earth. Trying not to dig too much into other things. We really want that to be our focus. Yes?
And there's lots of demons in the book of Matthew.
Like
Just in
1,000
case
of
you were
them.
wondering.
Their name's Legion.
There's a lot of demons.
So we were discussing how I think in America, a lot of things are labeled as mental illness that may have different things going on. I am not saying that all mentally ill people are oppressed or possessed by demons. That is not what I'm saying. But I am saying that in other cultures, if you mention demons, people know that they are very real and very active and that we are in a spiritual battlefield. When you mention it in America, people think you're crazy that you would talk about demons. Or that you're like one of those like ghost hunter people who are going out for the like thrill or joy of looking for ghosts. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about actual spiritual evil forces in the heavenly places. That whole thing you talk about in Ephesians with the armor of God, where we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against authorities, against cosmic powers in this present age, and the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. I'm memorizing that with the little kids right now. But that's actually out there. And because we don't talk about it in the United States as much, a lot of things are played off as mental illness or as, I don't know exactly what people term it, but there actually are demons around. And
fetishes. People obsessed with death and blood and things like that.
Yeah, the people that are obsessed with Halloween and gore and gross stuff. Like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with, like, fall things, scarecrows, or it's the blood and gore, and like you have things hanging out of your tree and everything, and kids are supposed to be like, oh yay, this is so much fun, and we dress up our kids to be like witches and demons, and as Christians we're like, oh, but it's not really that bad. The kids aren't really.
It's nearly October, okay? People already have their Halloween decorations up. We can talk about Halloween.
And because of the Bible passage about the demons and the pigs, we also had a brief discussion on whether cats are demon possessed.
I think we decided cats are demons, dogs have demons. Is that what we decided?
I think so.
That wasn't biblical.
So
That wasn't a biblical case.
So people think, like, even a lot of Christians will defend Halloween more than they will defend Jesus in front of people, which is a very odd thing.
So
Like,
focusing on Jesus.
yeah, instead of focusing on Jesus and, like, when we're in church and stuff wanting to talk about Jesus, they spend their time fighting on, like, social media or with people about why they should be allowed to celebrate Halloween. Seems very weird to me. Because Halloween is, like, if you look at Halloween, it's about death, it's about darkness, it's about witchcraft. If you look at a lot of the movies that are based on Halloween, like Hocus Pocus, it's a movie I watched as a kid, but it's, like, about child sacrifice and these 3 witches that are trying to drink children's blood. But it's funny, and we're all supposed to laugh at it. And I remember as a kid, I thought it was funny. But if you think about the actual message that children are getting from that, it's really disturbing.
And I don't know why kids like it.
And then people who, like...
Probably because they're depraved, rotten sinners.
Like the
like
sermon
all of
on
us.
Sunday?
Yeah.
But then, like, the people who decorate as, like, cemeteries and stuff, like, there is a place for remembering people who have died, like, you know, looking up to the patriarchs, remembering the good people have done. But the idea of, like, hanging out in a cemetery and trying to drum up the demons or talking, like, it talks in the Bible about talking to dead people as a bad thing. Like, Saul gets in trouble for that. So, and the necromancers and all of that. It's all, those are bad things. But yet, we want to say why it's okay to do it. Or, why as a church we're going to try to take back Halloween by doing the exact same activities that everyone else is doing, and we just don't put blood in it. But we're going to take it back by getting together on the same night, giving out candy. Not giving the gospel, just making sure that people get candy from nice people, right? Who aren't dressed up in bloody stuff.
So if you do the gospel, that's okay though, right?
No, because we don't need to mix the gospel with witchcraft.
Can we go out and do what we do with the gospel though?
Yeah, if you want to give out the gospel,
Yeah.
give out the gospel, but not also entertaining the let's all dress up and act like Halloween is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
There's also another holiday you can celebrate that day instead of Halloween.
Called Reformation Day, and it's awesome, and you act like Germans and talk about Martin Luther. Right?
You eat sausage and schnitzel. So, Reformation Day, October 31st, is the day that Calvin, Luther, sorry, hung the thesis on the door. Yes. So, nailed the things on the door saying that we don't agree with the Catholic Church in these things because the Catholic Church has walked away from the actual Bible, and they have all of these traditions of men and the Apocrypha and things that they've added to Scripture.
Just like that, it's a bit about the Catholic Church.
And so he nailed this thing to the door with 95 things saying this is why we don't agree with you, except he still did agree with them in a lot of ways, and some of the other people...
He's still half Catholic since he still believes in transubstantiation.
You want to explain transubstantiation?
They believe that the elements of the Lord's Supper, bread and wine, actually turn into Jesus' body.
Yes. So Luther still clung to a lot of Catholic teachings. So then other people came along during this time, such as Zwingli. Zwingli. Came around. Do you have anything to add to this conversation?
Reformation piggybackers? Is it satire? No, we're not. Shh. They believe in transubstantiation.
Shh. It's okay. So other people came around during this time, and it was a time, the Reformation was a time where people were actually looking to see, are the things that we're doing biblical, or are they just traditions of men? And there were some that came out with good conclusions, some that came out with half good conclusions, but it made people re-examine themselves and not to just follow along because the higher ups in the Catholic Church were saying, do this, don't actually read your Bibles and make sure that we get to be the ones to tell you what you're supposed to believe.
Sola Scriptura.
Right. So the 5 Points of the Reformation. Go ahead.
Sola fide. I'm not going to get these in order. Sola fide, sola gratia, sola scriptura, soli deo gloria, and solus Christus. Those are out of order. But those are the 5 points.
So what do those mean?
Faith alone,
Faith
grace alone,
grace
scripture alone.
Scripture alone, Christ alone, to the glory of God alone. What?
Okay.
You thinking? We are
Are we done
saved.
yet?
We can be done.
So that's why you can celebrate Reformation Day on that day. Or celebrate nothing. But don't try to say that it's okay we're celebrating just a little bit of witchcraft on that day. So that's all we're going to say about that. That was the end.
Bye, guys.
We have nothing
See you
more to
next time.
say. We're going to leave you on that big point. Leave your comments below. See you guys next time on Herding Little Cows to the Glory of God. Bye.
See ya.